Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the AB Quality Auto Glass 250 from Texas Motor Speedway. My name is David Westergreen. I will be joined by Zach Evans tonight. I'm back from the racetrack and back into the booth. And Zach, pretty entertaining. Hopefully Daytona 500 for you guys up here. Certainly was on the racetrack for me, but race two, things kind of settle out and we get focused on who's going to be contending for this championship here in this 2025 B season. What can you take, if anything, from last week and apply to this race tonight at Texas?
I don't know if there's much you can take from last week. Obviously, Daytona, the super speedway, the drafting, the 200-mile-per-hour chess game. Now we go to Texas, probably one of the most technical and trickiest of the mile-and-a-half speedways here on the iRacing platform. It's going to reward a completely different manner of driving and be really just a completely different ballgame from what we saw 1 week ago when Matthew Weeks picked up his third career win in the Elite Rev Limit Workshop Daytona 500.
Yeah, and this track, obviously, as you mentioned, completely different, but also a tricky version of Texas. It's that new version with the awkward turn one and the kind of the same old style of turn three. iRacing's updated it a few times since I've last driven it, but always a tricky track is this new version of Texas. I think you and I saw some drivers encountering some challenges in practice. What are some of the pitfalls that these guys are going to see tonight on this racetrack?
I think most of the problems have been on the turn 1 and 2 end of the circuit. Just finding that balance with the lesser banking in turns 1 and 2. Fighting, especially on corner exit, you're seeing a lot of either too much wheel on corner exit or whatever the case may be, but guys losing control as they try to transition to the backstretch, and feel like that's got to be the trouble spot throughout the race tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have had a lot of races at this new Texas over the years in this Elite Cup series, and we have a lot of prior caution flags and experience with that exiting of turn 2 wreck. So as the field gets ready to grid up here, we will have a starting lineup for tonight's race. And I believe is it still the 4D Raceware Pole Award winner?
Yes.
It is. So there you go. The 4D Raceware Pole Award winner will be Blake Reynolds when we get the grid on screen. There it is. The qualifying order for tonight's AB Quality Auto Glass 250. Blake Reynolds, the pole sitter. Chad Frankenfield starting second tonight. Thomas Coonan starts third from an open car, qualifying his way into the race. Jeff Green will start in fourth. Matthew Weeks, last week's winner, starts fifth with Gavin Hibbs in sixth. Ethan Burrell starts seventh alongside Johnny Thomas. Then Ethan Stanley and Ty McIntosh round out the top 10. Zach Novak starts 11th, and Jaden Racemius will go from P12.
In the 13th spot, you see Scott Crump in the 90 car. David Tooker will be on the outside of row 7. Corey Abbott will roll off from the 15th position. Justin Wadsworth, former series champion, will start in the 16th spot. Jonathan Cutlip starting 17th. In the 18th position on the grid, we have Jesse Racemius. Paul Mikolajczyk will start in 19th. R.C. Enerson makes his first start of the season, was not with us at Daytona. He's here tonight. He will start in the 20th position. Trey Holmes rolling off from 21st on the grid. Then you have Ryan Gable in position number 22. And in row 12 on the grid, Garrison Hogan will line up on the inside. Dylan Javier to the outside.
Ryan Schold will start 25th alongside a series debut for Daniel Gore. He qualifies his way in as, to my count, the last open car qualifying in. Frank Fody and Seth Rawls will go from row 14. Gavin Higgins and Dustin Dewar from row 15. Sean Judson's going to get that first DNQ of the evening, so move Gerald Campbell up to 31st alongside Gilberto Javier. Then you've got Justin Vandermarl and Brent Jones. You'll have, I believe, Michael Hosack rolling off from 36th there. And as we go down, you'll see on this list Kurt Gibson in 43rd. He's the other driver to DNQ. It'll be a Leighton Norgard, Ray Bracey, Mark Rabilis, Harrison Talon, Josh Adams, Caleb Pecumer, Kyle Henshaw, and Michael Goodman rounding out this field tonight. And that should get us to rolling and pacing here as Blake Reynolds takes us onto the racetrack for our first laps at a non-super speedway in this 2025B season. And there we go. So new scheme for Reynolds. I'm liking it, but it's rather funny. He waited until this week to not have a red and black car, similar to two cars in his mirror there on screen. Thomas Kuhn and Gavin Hibbs. Also his teammates Ethan Stanley and Garrison Hogan and Paul Mikolajczyk all running red and black cars. Zach Novak too. That'll be hopefully a little bit less confusing for us now that Blake's got that light blue in there. Pacing here for that AB quality 250. We've got 167 laps tonight. I believe we'll have a stage, around the lap 60 mark or so, maybe the halfway point of this race. That'd be lap 84, 85. Onboard camera for Blake Reynolds 65. Tonight as well. Lap 65. I knew it was in there. Blake Reynolds going to bring us down to the green flag. Chad Frankenfield to his outside. We will go racing for the second race of the 2025B season for the Elite Racing League Belly Up Sports Cup Series. It is green at Texas. Reynolds and Frankenfield fire off at the same time. Coonan giving a big push to Blake Reynolds on that inside lane, and everybody fans into turn one. The preferred lane is generally right at the bottom. Gavin Hibbs trying to make the outside lane work there. 3 wide off of 2 for third place.
Yeah, kind of surprising to see 3 wide this early on.
And it worked for Gavin Hibbs. He manages to make up 2 spots. Up to third goes that 95 car. A very aggressive opening lap move, but it works out well and gains Gavin Hibbs some track position at the line. Chad Frankenfield leads lap number 1 in this race. Blake Reynolds fighting back to his inside. They maintain that side-by-side battle into turn 1, where the bottom lane is typically the preferred lane, and Blake Reynolds is gaining on Chad Frankenfield, but he will not be able to clear down the back straightaway.
And Chad Frankenfield is a guy to let Blake Reynolds go without a fight, hanging right there on the door of that 66 car. They're going to go across the line side by side once again here to end the second lap.
Yep, Blake's got a big run up to the door of Chad Frankenfield this time, but Frankenfield leads yet another lap, fighting really hard early in this race. Hibbs looking on from third, and then it's Coonan, Weeks, and Jeff Green back there to 6th, but Frankenfield finally falters in turn 1, unable to hold that outside lane. He'll lose the lead to Reynolds. Now Gavin Hibbs challenging Frankenfield for second.
And I have to wonder what that's doing to Gavin Hibbs' tires. Obviously, he's finding speed up there, but is that going to be something that can work over a long run if we do happen to see, a prolonged green flag run here to start this race?
Yeah, Gavin Hibbs has definitely not been shy about utilizing that outside lane. Frankenfield also spent the first 2 or 3 laps in that outside groove, and we know with this next-gen car, that outside lane tends to just heat the tires up a lot more. I don't think the wear is nearly as bad, but the tires just heat up so much worse. And then over the course of the run, it's just impossible to get that back. And so Gavin Hibbs, Chad Frankenfield really testing the boundaries of that outside lane early on. Another guy who's jumped up to the outside lane to try and make up ground and track position early in this race is in 5th place. That's Ethan Stanley in that red and black 91. He is making ground up. He's gone around Jeff Green, around Matthew Weeks, last week's winner. We know Matthew Weeks is going to stay on the bottom of the racetrack in this one, but Stanley up top working that now Toyota Channel 199 entry up towards that 5th spot, dropping Weeks to 6th.
Yeah, that's 4 spots already up the running order for Ethan Stanley. Started in the 9th position, now up to 5th. So we'll see if he can keep marching forward in car 91.
Couple of side-by-side battles back there. Jaden Racimus clears out. David Tooker does as well in the 19 car. So no side-by-side battles back up until, Racimus got up into the high lane around Scott Crump. And that results in a battle where Crump takes over the position on Jaden Racimus. R.C. Anderson following suit. Ryan Gable's also working his way forward. He's fighting against Jesse Racimus, Jaden's dad, there in the 80 car.
Oh, that's really high up the racetrack for Ryan Gable in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's a line that's not typically run at this Texas Motoe Speedway. Gable's making it work, though. Kind of using it as a diamond. So we go on board with Jesse, watching him fight alongside Ryan Gable in that 0-1 car.
Well, I was saying last week, if there's anybody who's going to stay as close to the fence as possible at any racetrack, it is Ryan Gable, but even that kind of surprised me to see somebody that close to the fence here. Into.
Yeah, that's awfully high up, I would say. Gable and Racimus sort that battle out, but Jaden Racimus is back underneath Scott Crump just ahead of them. And then even further forward in the field, you've got a battle between Justin Wadsworth and Ty McIntosh. Also, Johnny Thomas fighting this one out there. That's a battle for, 12th place or so. Up ahead, we also had some more movement. Gavin Hibbs is trying to work alongside Blake Reynolds for the race lead. Ultimately, that's not working, but he is closing in. Ethan Stanley's moved up to the 4th position. And back there, the black and red car on that bottom lane is Zach Novak. And Zach, you'll have to assume that the, I believe, current iRacing Coke Series professional is going to have something to say about who wins this race tonight.
Oh, for sure. The 2019 Series champion, right up there in the mix in the Coke Series points again this year, and looking to have a good showing here at Texas. Obviously, at Daytona, it's such a wild card race, and especially as an open competitor, he was pretty happy to simply make the show, but now he gets to really flex his muscle and show why he is one of the best on the service. And already tonight, he's moved up 5 spots from that qualifying position as he makes his way around Thomas Coonan and sets his sights on Matthew Weeks ahead of him.
And you can see out the windshield of this Zach Novak machine, the battle for second is shaping up again. Chad Frankenfield to the inside of Gavin Hibbs. And that is the battle on track right now. At the top, at the top of the screen as well, you see Jeff Green and Jonathan Cutlip side by side. So this new Texas, I believe both of us have spoken out and maligned it to an extent at the inability for the real world to create side-by-side racing at this track. We're seeing it tonight, though. It seems like for whatever reason, iRacing's scan, tire model, something is allowing these guys to hook up that outside lane and utilize it to advantage. Because you see Chad working that inside lane, he's at a disadvantage right now. He's not getting to the throttle as well as you would definitely see in real life.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a little surprising to see that, but certainly that is the case at the moment. Now, big out of shape for Chad Frankenfield. Those rear tires are angry now. He's got to really have to settle down for a lap or two and get that temperature down, like you say, to get that grip back in the rear tires, or this could be a really bad situation for the driver of the 15 car.
I mean, Chad Frankenfield settle down for a few laps. I don't know, man. That doesn't seem like his MO. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not quite his MO, but he was in contention for the Daytona 500 last week. I think Chad's mindset is definitely improved over the last couple of seasons, and we've said that before. We're going to have to see how it plays out, but he's competing against some of the biggest names in this series right now. He's got Ethan Stanley and Zach Novak's Channel 199 Toyota sandwiching him right now. It certainly doesn't look out of place, but yeah, there's the loose condition that he's definitely fighting with the overheated rear tires, and Frankenfield yields spot number 4 to Zach Novak. Here's the caution. First one of the day, lap 14 coming to 15. I'm looking for an incident. I think it might have been Mark Robilas that went around. I've also got Ray Bracey tracking on the apron. Oh, it's Josh Adams in the outside wall. Those guys might have been going on the apron dodging a wreck.
Oh, yeah. Starts. Is that Frank Fody in the? Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that's Frank Fody in the 41 car in the wall first.
And I mean, when he hits the wall, the car just stops. That is really so. There you see it. He's got to get loose on the exit of turn 2. But I can't wait to see this because it looks like the car just kind of stops when he hits the outside wall.
Oh man! Almost clobber Daniel Gore. And then it's going to be damage for Caleb Pecumer and Dusty Dewar. Michael Hosak's in this as well. Might have to get a further away view, maybe like a normal turn, a normal TV style camera for this one. Try and get down the back straightaway a little bit. Yeah, because you see there's the initial contact, and these guys are going to wreck it, trying to blow up for the wreck and pile into Frank. Harrison gets involved. I want to know how Josh Adams got a piece of this as well. So there he is in the outside wall with heavy damage to the front end of that 22 car. He goes by And then I guess there's a little bit of maybe netcode contact between he and Corey Abbott.
Maybe.
Hard to say. I will
Definitely
say
did
that
not slow down as much as the cars around him,
Mhm.
which did not help.
Right. Uh, Frank's going to get the EOL from race control. Dominic Wright. I think that's a correct call. But yeah, I do think Josh probably could have helped himself. But then again, you looked at what happened behind Frank. Those 3 cars got on the brakes at all, and the cars all hooked sideways and piled into the wreck. So tough to say, but either way, all of those guys are going to end up with damage in this one. Looks like Harrison's car might be all right. I did get into a spot where I was dodging a wreck last week and the car hooked right on me. A little bit of that is the next gen car. It just loves to, when you change transition off of banking or change your speed, it just likes to hook. I don't know that a lot of that happened there, especially with regard to Josh Adams. But for Frank, I think that was a big part of why he ended up coming across the racetrack.
One to green here, and you'll notice a little bit of a shakeup up front. A lot of guys took this chance to come down pit road, but this top, I believe 14, either 13 or 14, stayed out. Your first car on tires looks like it's going to be Ethan Stanley. So
I think it'd be Ryan Gable, but maybe Gable went fuel only. Gable definitely came down pit road, and he's ahead of Stanley.
He is not showing on my screen that he went down pit road.
Interesting. He's behind a lot of guys whom he was not behind before the wreck, such as Mark Urbilis. Either way, should be about 12 cars on 14-lap tires. Everybody from 13th or 14th on back is going to be rushing forward with new tires that should create some sort of a log jam, and it might get interesting here on this restart. First caution is over. We are going to start lap 18. A big get off from Blake Reynolds, and he is gone early in this one. And oftentimes what happened is Michael Goodman, a little contact with Ryan Gable back there in the pack. Gonna fan out, didn't 3 wide into turn 1. Everybody's okay so far. They're gonna be 4 wide coming off of 2. They made it work once again. Now Urbilis and Goodman are stuck up in the way outside lane. That's gonna be tough for either of those guys to make any ground. Urbilis trying to find a way around Goody. They're both falling back really aggressively here. Trying to stay out of the way at this point, fellas.
So to provide a little more context on the Ryan Gable thing, we're both right. He came down pit road. He didn't pit.
Oh, well, there you go.
I guess I don't know if he missed his stall or what happened, but he just kept he basically gave himself a drive-through under caution. Is what he did.
That sounds about like something Ryan Gable would do: is come down pit road and decide, maybe not, and just keep on driving. Either way, he is still fighting for the 10th and 11th spot right now with Gerald Campbell in that 31 car. Garrison Hogan is just ahead, and a couple ahead of them, a couple guys that have utilized the early caution to provide some track position. Seth Rawls, Jaden Racimus, Jaden's dad, Jesse. Both of those guys starting to have good runs here in the 1 and 80 cars, respectively.
Oh!
Trying to work.
Ryan Gable got a little out of shape on corner exit there in front of these fresh tires.
And he is now going to try that outside line again. And that's going to get tight off of 2 because Jonathan Cutlip is running that middle lane. It worked out. Gable was able to clear ahead of Cutlip. I just can't imagine, Zach, that line is going to be all that good for all that long in this race. Oh, Ty McIntosh is sideways.
Oh, trouble.
Into the wall goes the 10. Johnny Thomas is going to be around. Mikolajczyk's involved. No caution thus far.
I think everybody kept it pointed the right
Oh, Johnny's going to... Johnny just spun it. The yellow's out. Johnny just spun, coming back on the track. He hit a bump, and that car went flying. and that spun him around, and that'll bring out the second yellow flag of the day. This all started. Ty McIntosh got up in that outside groove, and they entered turn 3 wide, and it just got out from under Ty, and he went up and slapped the wall, and everybody else was kind of stuck trying to avoid him, and little wiggle, and then it's all out of control from there.
And then Gerald, I guess, gets loose all on his own to end up in the grass. So there you see, there's where Johnny Thomas, and there's where Paul Mikolajczyk gets involved. And Johnny, as you said, he's got to go through the grass here. And we'll see when he ends up getting out of shape. I'm guessing it's got to be right about here.
There.
Right where that transition is off the grass onto the paved area of that infield.
And that ends up bringing out the yellow flag, but I believe this will get this tally will get shuffled over to Ty McIntosh.
Well, here's the interesting thing. If I may have heard it wrong, but we'll see if we get the text box here. But if I understood the communication I heard, Ty wasn't the caution. Johnny Thomas was in the eyes of race control. So that might end up being a racing incident. I'm not sure. I will see if I get clarification on the text box here, but I believe that's what I heard.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily pin that on Johnny. I definitely wouldn't pin it on Johnny, but he just, I mean, Paul did rejoin safely, and Johnny hit a bump and the car flipped around on him. But
LA racing incident.
All right, well there you go. That seems pretty reasonable, given that Ty's incident didn't directly trigger a yellow, though he does benefit from it. He gets to go fix it.
Right. I think that's the catch here, is if that incident had directly been the caution, then the tally would have been assigned to Ty McIntosh. But since they had kind of gotten back going after that, I believe that's what we're seeing here.
Well, as the South Shore Racing team owner, I'll take anything I can get with regard to avoiding getting 2 driver tallies in the first 25 laps of this event. But difficult start to the day for sure for that group. Not a difficult day for these two. Channel 199's got first and second, a couple of guys that have raced on the pro circuit leading this race early on. Blake Reynolds, Zach Novak, 1-2. And they'll restart just in front of Gavin Hibbs and Scott Crump, another couple of guys who stayed out on that last pit cycle. Jesse Racimus, Thomas Coonan will line up in row 3. Seth Rawls and Garrison Hogan there in row 4 as we cycle through our cameras of available drivers in the top 10. I think we've also got Garrison Hogan here. Maybe not. Oh, there he is. We've got Jaden Racimus and Chad Frankenfield there in the top 10. Chad should be the first car on fresh tires, with Matthew Weeks and Ethan Stanley just behind. Didn't seem like that made a whole ton of ground as we look at the other South Shore. One of the other South Shore entries, Ray Bracey. I think that's all of our webcams that we have access to tonight, though. We've got Gilberto as well in the 85 car, and the lighting looks a little better now. One more. Nope. Yep, there's Gavin Hibbs. All of our cameras are there. If you've got a camera, ask Dave for the link. He'll give it to you. Pace car is off. We are back under green. Blake Reynolds went real early in the restart zone, kind of snookered his teammate Zach Novak a little bit. And Novak's going to be back under fire from Gavin Hibbs and Scott Crump here entering turn 1. Reynolds once again away with a really big advantage. Into turn 3, Jesse Racimus looking under Scott Crump, a little wiggle. And Jesse's going to have to chase that car up the racetrack. he's still wiggling that 80 car. Racines trying to hang on and maintain that 5th place. Seth Rawls jumps underneath Thomas Coonan while Racines tries to gather it up. Rawls and now Chad Frankenfield trying to work their way forward. Those two guys worked pretty well at the front end of the Daytona 500 last week, having good runs here right now, but Frankenfield's got 15 lap fresher tires than Seth Rawls.
Yeah, those Fords there aren't many blue ovals in the Cup Series this year, and certainly they're trying to work together and put together some kind of strength in numbers. I don't know how much that's got to help them this week, but trouble!
Oh, Ethan Burrell is around. Jeff Green in the wall. Justin Wadsworth in the wall. Jane Racines. Vandermarl gets into it. Daniel Gore gets into it. Try to take a swig of my drink, and they wreck it coming off of turn 2 for the 3rd caution of the night. Looked like Jaden just got loose in that same spot. We've seen a couple of guys get loose in, and nowhere for Ethan Burrell to go.
And that's got to collect Jeff Green, R.C. Anderson, Justin Wadsworth, probably a few others as they conglomerate there against the outside wall in the backstretch. You see everybody try to check up.
Ethan Burrell. We should go on board with. We should go on board with Brent Jones here. Jeff Green slides down the track. He's going to collect Justin Vandermarl. Brent did a wonderful job of woeing up for this wreck. He was right behind Wadsworth and never hit anybody.
Yeah,
that's phenomenal
there.
Work.
That's what you like to see.
Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and we'll run one more replay of this wreck here on the back straightaway, and then we'll jump to a commercial break, get our ads in, at least one of our ads in here under yellow under this 3rd caution of the night. I don't think Daniel Gore hit anything in this one, but I don't think any of these other guys did either. I think everyone's all right. So yeah, we'll hit commercial here, and we'll come back for the restart.
Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. The track that launched the legendary careers of Harvick, Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. is now ready to write that next chapter. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers. And in the process, we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. NASCAR Weekend 2025, the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs, the Confluence Music Festival, and now 250 miles of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 incredible races, 1 challenging track, a 3-day party of epic proportions. Go to www.raceway.com and lock in your weekend racing and camping packages for as little as $20 down.
Welcome back to this 3rd caution flag. Quick update on our fastest lap leaderboard, currently held by Blake Reynolds, the race leader.
No.
Well, that's the regular one. It's the pink car, the purple number. You guys got to see this last week. I did not get a chance to take a look at this graphic. It is Chad Frankenfield with the fastest lap at the moment. Do we know what lap Chad set that? Would that have been when he got those fresh tires? Try to look. It was in that last run there was Chad's fastest lap. I got that. So fresh tires are faster. It's just a matter of parsing them through all the cars and keeping the heat out of them. And I think that's going to be difficult for Chad Frankenfield, Matthew Weeks, Ethan Stanley, given that we've had a couple of quick caution flags in succession after that first run. The third one ends. Blake Reynolds on the loud pedal once again. He and Zach Novak work together just a little bit better, but Reynolds has been jumping on it very early in the box just about every single time here, and that's enabling him to get really big early leads in these runs. It's pulled the whole inside lane forward quite a bit. That's allowing Chad Frankenfield to go after Jesse Racimus with those fresh tires. And he might have a chance at grabbing Scott Crump as well in the next couple of corners.
Yeah, I
Here
think
comes
that's
Chad.
definitely a move. Oh, yep.
Underneath Crump. I thought Seth Rawls was going to pull up in front of Crump and run in.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he did. He did. Rawls, Crump, slide out of the way. Frankenfield through to fourth.
Oh, boy.
That could have been dicey. I know Scott Crump was not happy about that either. That's an emotional driver. He'll get on you if you wrong him in any way. And I'll call it a block early in the race. That won't get looked on terribly favorably.
And now Scott Crump trying to get settled back in there, but kind of trapped on the outside line, like you say. It's been working for some guys better than others. It does not seem to be working kindly for Scott Crump at the moment.
Crump is starting to fall back. Yeah, that outside line, it's been okay, but it hasn't been good enough to, I think, defend for a long time. And right now, what we're seeing is Chad Frankenfield with those fresh tires, that he's been able to climb through the field a little bit. In fact, look at that. He set an even faster lap time. There a couple of laps ago, lap 33. He is trying to run down these guys up front on those older tires, these pros. Blake Reynolds, Zach Novak working 1-2 right now, but Frankenfield trying to utilize that bottom lane and run them down in the draft. Oh, Stanley sideways off turn 2.
And you know what Chad wants right now is a really long green flag run here. He wants to maximize his tire advantage he has. Like you say, these other guys still on the original set of tires, and he's going to want this to, really go green long enough for him to maybe get out front, take advantage of these tires. I think the concerning part with that, though, is you look at, some of these guys, that haven't pitted, and they're still carrying plenty of speed.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of pace in this older tire. It seems like the tire wear is, it's as I said earlier a little bit, it's very heat dependent. So like, if you can keep that tire cool, it'll function like a new tire. And these two guys up front, they're probably some of the best in the world at keeping the tires cool on this next gen car. Right now, Zach Novak's got to make a move here. He's going to jump underneath his teammate Blake Reynolds, try to work to the inside of that 66 car. Novak and Reynolds side by side for the race lead. Chad Frankenfield looking for a way around. Sideways back in behind him. Seth Rawls went sideways. He saved it, gathered it up. The battle for the lead rages on.
I think Novak's got the advantage here. He's going to be able to clear in front of Blake Reynolds, and that's going to leave Reynolds to try to fight with Frankenfield for this second position.
Novak through to the lead, and Reynolds got a really big run off turn 2, was able to drop down and provide that dirty air onto the nose of that 15 car, force it to lift in the center of turn 3. Now Reynolds and Frankenfield will try to run Zach Novak back down, but Novak has taken off already 0.3 of a second lead. We'll go on board with Chad Frankenfield here as he tries to run down Blake Reynolds, last season's champion.
And you can see he's able to keep that car much lower on the exit of 2 with those fresher tires, but I'm not sure how much it helps him. Blake Reynolds was able to get a pretty good run by arcing out the car as it made its exit there.
Also notice Chad Frankenfield, as we stay on board with him here going into turn 1, he's going to shift it down into 4th gear. Dives it in underneath. Blake Reynolds does Chad Frankenfield, trying to work underneath there. He almost made contact, and that bold move has set both of these drivers back. It's going to bring Jonathan Cutlip back into this fight. A move, Chad Frankenfield, very bold. That's just exactly what we expect from driver of that 15 car. But maybe ill-advised. You've gotta find a way around these two pros without giving up that time and that advantage that you currently have. And now Chad Frankenfield's brought Jonathan Cutlip that much closer into the picture, and Cutlip's on the same strategy as Frankenfield.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he's seeing in the mirrors. He sees Jonathan Cutlip closing in and seeing, in his eyes, the de facto race lead shrinking away, but at the same time, you don't want to, again, overheat those tires, making a over-aggressive move. Well, okay, we'll see what brought out our 4th caution of the night here, and that just kind of resets everything. I have a feeling this is going to be a really good time for those guys who haven't taken tires to do it for the first time. We'll see what caused this caution.
It was Kyle Hanshaw in the 46 car that got around on the exit of turn 2 that brought out this yellow. I'll tell you, Zach, I think that stage at lap 65 is going to be on the minds of some. So here's the spin for Kyle Hanshaw, and that will be caution number 4. It's similar to what we've seen, but though that's the lowest I've seen anybody running and getting loose. So Hanshaw brings out caution number 4. I think the tally call will be pretty straightforward there, and it is, as you said, Zach Novak and Blake Reynolds have opted to use this caution to come down and get tires on their car. Chad Frankenfield, Matthew Weeks, they are staying out on the racetrack, and they will now be the drivers hunted, though I think their tires are going to be even fresher than the tires that Novak and Reynolds just took off their cars. They had less laps, I think, than those other two did. Try to get a tally of how many drivers will be staying out here. It's a very large amount, I think. I think you're going to see about, it should be more than that. Race control Dominic. Yeah, so awful lot of mix up here on after the pit road cycle. I'm waiting for iRacing scoring to line things up here. It will also send us to 1 to green to get an exact number of where the freshest tires are going to be for you guys at home. It should be about 15th, I think. Novak will line up 13th across the line. So that'll be the freshest tires. You've got, I believe Dave gave us the top 7 are the cars that came down the last couple of times. Gerald is the most recent pitting of those after he went through the grass on that one yellow flag. A couple of guys here, Coonan, Gilberto, Harrison, Goody, and Rabilis all came down a caution ago. And then you've got the guys who just pitted this caution, Novak, Reynolds, Cutlip, Hogan, Hibbs, and everybody on back. Chad Frankenfield is now the race leader. Last week's winner, Matthew Weeks, is second. Ethan Stanley is now third. David Tooker fourth. Ryan Schold in fifth. Leighton Norgard will line up sixth. And they will be racing to the stage, about 20-lap run to get that stage point. That'll carry all the way into the playoffs here in this Elite Belly Up Sports Cup Series. And that 5 sets of tires, these guys have all put on one set, basically. They've got 4 in the bank still, and that should be good enough. Pace car is off. Chad Frankenfield up in the front alongside Weeks. Frankenfield with a really good jump. Gets about as good a jump as Blake Reynolds got in the last couple of restarts, and the yellow is out. It's Zach Novak around on the bottom of the racetrack. Harrison Talon is around. Robilis is wrecked. Daniel Gore is involved. Man. Gerald Campbell's got a bunch of damage. It had to have started with Gerald. He was 7th. Oh, he hit the grass.
He clipped the grass, and that's got to get the car out of control.
Oh, Gilberto.
There's Gilberto Javier getting in it. Harrison Talon has got to go down into Zach Novak. Jonathan Cutlip might have missed it, actually.
So too, Gavin Hibbs misses it. Reynolds misses it up on the outside unless Robilis comes up and gets into him, but I don't think he does.
Daniel Gore had it missed and then got hit in the left rear by Seth Rawls.
Rawls has apologized on the text chat to Daniel Gore. I don't think Gore got hit after that. So 69 car should be okay. Here's an overhead blimp view look at this wreck. Gerald's right there on the bottom of the screen. You can see him get out of shape, come up the racetrack, and then kind of break everything loose here. Gore's got the blinking woes, and right there, it's he and Seth come together while trying to go around Gilberto. I think Ryan Gable missed Gilberto by a couple of inches, maybe. I mean, that was very close. Dylan Javier goes all the way to the limit of pit road to avoid this wreck. And Gerald Campbell will be given the tally per race control, and that's about right.
Ugh.
Almost a little bit of contact between Gore and Gable and Javier there coming back on the track.
Yeah.
They're able to avoid further calamity. Yeah, that'll shake things up for sure. Novak getting a bunch of damage is pretty significant, I think, in terms of Blake Reynolds' competition for this race. Reynolds is able to avoid this wreck, and he'll come out P9, it looks like. And as they roll down, a bunch of people came down pit road. Some guys stay out after obviously just pitting. And it's just, the field's all jumbled up, and then you get someone hitting the grass or something like that. I mean, to cause a big restart wreck, that's just going to shake things up dramatically. It's also going to cut laps out of the stage. By the time we get the green flag next time, I mean, there'll be 15 laps to go in the stage, basically.
And before we take that green flag next time by, let's take a moment to mention our race sponsor tonight. This is the AB Quality Auto Glass 250. AB Quality Auto Glass is locally owned and operated and provides a mobile auto glass repair and auto glass replacement service to Keithville, Gloucester, Flournoy, Bossier, and Shreveport, Louisiana, as well as surrounding areas. You can find out more at abqualityautoglass.com.
Please do go to abautoglass.com there, AB Quality Auto Glass, and give them a look, because Zach just had to read a bunch of Louisiana city names, and
Sam
that's
Bout
no
was going to tell
easy
me how I
feat.
screwed up. Sam Bout was going to tell me which ones I screwed up. I tried to do some homework on it. I didn't go in blind, but I probably messed up one of them.
I am no Louisianan, but I thought you did a great job.
Well, I appreciate it.
Chad Frankenfield is the race leader here of the AB Quality Auto Glass 250. Matthew Weeks to his outside. The top 6 the same as they took the green last time. Thomas Coonan and Michael Goodman will be 7th and 8th. Blake Reynolds and Gavin Hibbs will restart 9th and 10th. They will be on the freshest tires in the field. And the last time Gavin Hibbs restarted in the outside lane with fresh tires, he zipped to the wall in turn 1 and passed about 4 cars. Let's see what happens here. Coming to lap 50 of 167, concluding our 5th caution of the race. The pace car is off. Chad Frankenfield is on the loud pedal. Everybody didn't hit the grass this time through the restart zone. We are racing once again. Stanley clears Matthew Weeks for second in turn one. Weeks washes up the racetrack. Ryan Schultz going to try to take advantage in the 4-car. He'll work to the inside of Weeks, looking for a spot. A little bit of wall contact from Michael Goodman. Everybody makes it through turn 2 okay. Chad Frankenfield will race leader. Stanley to second. Weeks fighting off Ryan Schultz for that 3rd spot. Oh, contact again for Michael Goodman into the wall. Ryan Gable and Goodman contact again on the front straightaway. Goody hangs onto it, stays straight. Everybody keeps it all right. Very nearly another big wreck there. They're still 2 and 3 wide. Burrell loose on the bottom of the racetrack. Hosack slices out the middle of the pack. He looks for a spot on Trey Holmes. The mid-pack here is wild at this point in time. Up front, they're single file for that race lead. The closest battle to the front of the field is Gavin Hibbs going around Thomas Coonan. Chad Frankenfield is soloed out to the race lead. Hibbs and Reynolds will both filter by Coonan. They will be 6th and 7th after this restart is cycled out. Oh, into the wall goes Thomas Coonan. Bounces off of Blake Reynolds.
Oh, boy.
That could have been a disaster for Blake Reynolds. Coonan and Reynolds able to hang on to their cars, but there might be some damage to the 66 after that.
Yeah, we'll see how that car handles after that. Speaking of handling, Scott Crump up the hill there. He's trying to hang on to that automobile.
He's battling after Thomas Coonan. Saw Coonan get a piece of the wall trying to take advantage in that 90 car, and he will do so and clear past Thomas Coonan's wounded number 36. Ryan Gable and Justin Wadsworth, the next drivers up. Up front, it is Ethan Stanley and Matthew Weeks battling it out for 2nd spot. Chad Frankenfield is 3/10 up on these 2 Toyotas. Stanley up high trying to defend Weeks on that bottom of the racetrack. Weeks has recovered after that slow restart to get back up to the back bumper of Ethan Stanley and try to challenge for this stage win.
R.C. Enerson getting a piece of the wall out of turn 4 this time.
RC into the clutches of Jesse Racimus, as well as Corey Abbott, Trey Holmes, and Leighton Norgard, all trying to battle it out. A big jumble knot of cars there on the top of your screen, on the bottom of your screen, and following the front battle, it's between Ethan Stanley and Matthew Weeks still, but neither of these guys are putting any ground into the lead Chad Frankenfield has built up so far.
Yeah, Chad Frankenfield had about a half-second advantage there. I think now that they're singling out, maybe they could start trying to eat into it, but right now, Chad Frankenfield has a sizable gap here as we're in the final 10 laps before the end of the stage. And worth reminding fans who might be tuning in for the first time, it's not like the real-life NASCAR Cup Series. There will not be a yellow flag at the end of that stage. We will keep going as long as there's not, an incident to bring out a caution at that point.
We've had a few of those incidents, so we won't put it off the table, but yeah, no typical stage caution. We do have the stage point. There's only one since this is a half-distance race, but it'll function effectively the same as the NASCAR playoff points, and every time we reset those rounds in our playoff format later this year, you'll see those playoff points resurface. So they will be important for drivers in those playoffs, and Chad Frankenfield, I assume he'll probably be in the playoffs, but he'll need all the playoff points he can get. And what a great start to the season thus far for Chad Frankenfield. I mean, he ran up front. He had a real shot to win the Daytona 500 last week. Right now, he's working towards a stage win, just 7 laps to get it done. Ethan Stanley's eating into the lead a little bit, but the clean air on the nose of that 15 car, and Frankenfield's really making it work up there in the front of the field.
Yeah, this is, at least to start this season, it has been a different Chad Frankenfield than we've seen, honestly, in the past, I'd say 2 or 3 seasons here in the Cup Series. And we know how hungry he is, if nothing else, to end that winless drought he's been on that goes back so many seasons and get back to victory lane. And right now, looking very strong in car 15.
I mean, this is really impressive, and we've said it before, right? We've seen Chad run well with Indy and a few other places where he's had control of a race like this, and it was all short run pace, and it went away because we went green for a few laps, and I'm not going to rule that out from happening here, but Chad looks smooth. He's pretty well collected. He's outpacing Ethan Stanley and Matthew Weeks at the moment, and in a spot where those two guys are definitely going to be pushing for it because there's stage points on the line. There's a stage, playoff point on the line. Matthew Weeks is going after Ethan Stanley right here for second spot. So they're not just rolling over and letting Chad have this stage. They're going for it, and those are two champions of the series. Well, Matthew is. Stanley really could be. It's surprising he hasn't won one yet.
I think it's probably only a matter of time, but certainly one of those championship contenders was right there in the mix last season. It was the oh,
Yellow
I think we
flag.
have a caution here.
And that should, Trey Holmes wrecked on the back straightaway. That should be the stage. I think Chad's got like a 5-lap buffer on it where, it obviously the right decision for Trey got a little loose and then got a bump from Zach Novak on this yellow flag. We'll jump into the replay and then analyze the option for the stage. It will be a 1-lap shootout. Okay. Oh, Gavin.
What happened here?
Gavin Higgins came in very late and got into this wreck.
What happened?
He's working against Michael Goodman and Caleb Becumer. Oh, he was wrecking well before.
Yeah, oh. So that's why I heard Michael Goodman on the radio, because I think he got jump scared. He thought he was just rolling the outside lane, and all of a sudden he's staring at a red 20 on a black car.
Oh! This wreck was way more than we thought it was from that initial look.
What on earth?
Jaden Racimus hit Gavin Higgins going really fast. Quick housekeeping note while we load up this replay. Matthew Weeks did come down pit road.
Yellow is out right here.
Yeah, yellow is out early, and Jaden's still coming off of turn 4 on full head of steam, and I don't think he ever slowed down.
That's not impressive. I gotta be honest.
Gavin Higgins has disconnected from the server. I assume damage related.
Yeah, as hard as he got hit on the corner of that car, I don't know if he had an option on that one.
Oh man!
I mean, you can see the revs are down. There was an attempt, but
I think Jaden will end up getting dinged with a caution contact type of penalty there. That is available in this Belly Up Sports Cup Series for race control to deem. Up front, we had a shakeup. Matthew Weeks, David Tucker, Brian Schold, Daniel Gore all came down pit road to put tires on it, try and take advantage of the stage. Dominic Wright did give Jaden Racimus an additional EOL, I'm assuming, for that late caution contact.
That is exactly why.
So that is a big piece of it. Brent Jones also had gotten some damage in that incident as well.
And this is going to be a 1-lap shootout for the stage. We'll file this under what could possibly go wrong.
Yeah, worth noting, Gavin Hibbs and Blake Reynolds do have those fresher tires than Chad Frankenfield and Ethan Stanley, and they are restarting 3rd and 4th respectively. So Chad, I think Chad should be okay to win this stage. He just needs to fire off well. As race control goes ahead, is going to update us on the tally, and it will be Gavin Higgins for the first tally, and then an additional one for Jaden Racimus. I think both of those are pretty useful calls there. Did we not give anything to Trey Holmes? I guess, yeah, that was kind of separate.
Yeah, I again, I don't know if that's what brought out the caution. He was
I'll check with Dom.
off the racing circuits.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Chad Frankenfield, 1 lap to the stage. We'll be going against some of the best in this series. Ethan Stanley, Gavin Hibbs, Blake Reynolds, and Garrison Hogan lining up in the top 5. The pace car is off. Chad heads towards that restart zone. It'll be that blue area on the bottom. He jumped in it and goes early. Everybody kind of anticipated that, and Stanley was able to get a really good shove from Blake Reynolds. Oh, Chad's clear, but they're as close as they've been to any leader thus far.
And can Stanley get that run off the high side off turn 2? Chad's got to try to close the door, but he can't lock them both.
He chooses that bottom lane, try and hold off Gavin Hibbs. Stanley way up the racetrack. Stanley's in the loose stuff. That car wiggling sideways. Hibbs through to second. It'll be Chad Frankenfield to win the stage. Hibbs second, Stanley third, Reynolds fourth, Hogan fifth. We also award points all the way through the top 10. So it'll be Rawls, Crump, Gavel, Wadsworth, and Enerson getting those playoff or those extra points. And now things will sort out, right?
Well, here's hoping, and certainly,
right.
you certainly hope that's the case, because now you need to get some green flag laps in. You need to get some laps on the board here, and start thinking about the big picture. Start thinking about lap 167. As now Blake Reynolds will dart to the inside of Chad Frankenfield in a battle for the lead.
Keep my eye on as Blake does take the lead over from Chad Frankenfield. Keep my eye on Matthew Weeks. He's the black car in the middle of the screen, middle top of the screen, fighting with the cream-colored Quick Shifts car right now and the Red Bull car as well. Weeks is the car on the freshest tires. He just came down pit road, tried to kind of undercut this stage road course style, as it were, and it'll be very interesting to see if Matthew Weeks and David Tooker are able to take advantage of losing those points. Obviously, Weeks feels he's pretty comfortable. Won the first race, pretty well locked into the playoff format. He should be fine, right? So yielding the opportunity at those stage points, that's a pretty interesting move for Matthew Weeks, and he ought to be able to take advantage of it and do what he does best: save his tires, hope this race runs green for a really long time, where he can kind of take advantage of all that carnage and chaos in that early part of the race, and make up some ground on these guys that he's kind of undercut. Oh, Ethan Burrell hit the outside wall on the back straightaway. It's not what Matthew Weeks needs, that's for sure.
And the other thing to keep in mind if we do get that green flag run here, and I'm not sure exactly what the magic number is, but for these guys that did stay out trying to get those stage points, guys like Chad Frankenfield haven't been on pit road since lap 15. So at some point, there you see the numbers for Chad Frankenfield and Stanley. They're going to be on pit road much sooner if this goes green.
Chad and Stanley definitely made the play to go get those stage points, and I certainly don't fault either one of them for that. Both of them should be playoff drivers and contenders for the championship this season. But you look at the names that are flying around them that are going to be able to just come down pit road and get tires at the same time they are, if this race gets a yellow, which I think it will. The way some of these cars are darting around coming off the exit of turn 2 feels like it's only a matter of time to me. This battle is hectic behind Ethan Stanley. It's got Seth Rawls, Scott Crump, a couple of guys that finished in the top 5 in last week's Daytona 500. And you've got R.C. Anderson, who was not in last week's Daytona 500. Zach Novak, who just a couple of laps ago had driven into the door of Gerald Campbell. So a whole adventure of drivers and backgrounds here in this group. They're fighting hard right now for the back end of the top 10.
And Seth Rawls, one of the big gainers of tonight, alongside Garrison Hogan. Garrison's up 20 spots. Seth Rawls currently up 21 from their qualifying efforts. Obviously, in Seth's case, it's been a little bit of staying out early in the race as long as possible, trying to get that track position. He's been able to parlay that into currently running in the 7th position. Right now, trying to hang on to it on that inside lane, though.
It's tough work right now. You've got Ethan Stanley on old tires kind of holding this group up a little bit. Oh, Seth sideways, coming off a 4. He'll hang on to it. You got Novak in front. He's battling with Scott Crump. Now here comes Jonathan Cutlip to the inside of Seth Rawls. That'll make things interesting there. 3 wide in turn 1. Crump up the racetrack sideways in the 90 car. He'll hang on to it. They're 3 wide exiting turn 2. Randall Henderson in the wall.
I would have never guessed we'd see this much 3 wide racing at Texas Motoe Speedway tonight, but certainly that has been quite a frequent occurrence so far, and so you have to give these guys credit for making it work as well as they have.
You've done an excellent job of putting on a great show for us tonight. Blake Reynolds currently leading this race, but it's been an adventure for him too. And then you've got Gavin Hibbs, Garrison Hogan up there as well. But this battle right here, Matthew Weeks is trying to parse his way through the chaos here. He's underneath R.C. Anderson. He just bypassed Seth Rawls. Weeks does have the freshest tires of anybody in this group, but it's only by a couple of laps right now. And I think that 11 car probably has something for these race leaders if he can get through this traffic. Garrison Hogan bypasses Gavin Hibbs for the second spot there. They're 7/10 behind Blake Reynolds. He is gone out into the wind in that 66 car. Another quick look at the Seth Rawls into the grass. He's going to come back across the track. Oh, he spun it. We just talked about Seth Rawls too.
Oh man, what a great run he was having. I think discretion was the better part of valor there. He knew he was on the verge of washing back up the racetrack into traffic and maybe sacrificed himself a little bit and gave it an extra crank to the left there to stay out of harm's way and avoid ruining other people's nights, but it's going to cost him a ton on the racetrack.
Genuinely shocked that he did not get that car backwards at any point there. It was really good car control from Seth Rawls. That was well done. He's at the back of the pack here. He's not that far back. He's 27th, but he's kind of fallen into the clutches of a lot of the guys who have some damage. And Seth's car's pretty clean. He should be able to drive forward again. Here's a couple of best friends. Go ahead on Seth, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Matthew Weeks bypasses Scott Crump and Jonathan Cutlip to move up into the 6th spot. A little bit of contact between Crump and Cutlip. Results in Jonathan Cutlip bypassing Scott Crump as well. Weeks now has clean air on the nose of that number 11 Toyota for Pro Edge Racing. And behind him, the guys that he's on the same strategy with are David Tooker, Ethan Burrell, Ryan Gable. Those guys are all kind of bottled up in this traffic still, so Matthew Weeks should be able to gap them pretty efficiently here.
And Scott Crump is really struggling at the moment, falling backwards. Maybe he's found a little bit of respite there behind. Oh, never mind. He doesn't think he's struggling. He's got to try to pass R.C. Anderson. I don't think that's going to work.
Does not. Crump is still side by side with Ethan Burrell coming out of turn 4. That is for the 10th spot between Crump and Burrell. Stanley is just behind. He also has those older tires. Chad Frankenfield's been able to hold on to 5th. Stanley fell back a lot quicker than Chad did. Crump lost that battle to Ethan Burrell. Ryan Gable has bypassed Stanley in this group. Here comes Burrell off on Anderson, and Stanley continues to fall back. Wadsworth goes around. Here comes Schold.
I just heard on the voice chat, driver 15, quote, needs you guys to wreck. That tells me getting either really aggravated with the tires on that car or he's about to run out of fuel. One or the other. He's starting to think about coming to pit road and would like caution before that happens.
I think it's a fuel situation for Chad Frankenfield. I guess the advantage is that final stop that he may have to make. It's not one that will be long.
Well, that's the problem. Can you get it? Because I imagine anybody who waited, they're going to be able to one stop these final 120 20-ish laps that they were running on that stint. And I don't know if Chad's going to be able to get in the window for that. We'll
get
see.
Do we get a number on how many laps per tank you're typically getting? I mean, what's Chad on right now? I got the screen's a little blurry on our end. 58, so he can run about 60. I think that's okay. That puts him in the window. If he can run 60 more right now from 85 or whenever he does have to pit here, should be good, right? Takes him to one.
But that's what I'm saying. If you pit it at 45 and it is 60, and it looks like it's at least 60, it's probably even more than that. Okay, if you pit at 45, you got to pit 105-ish. If you could stretch it, that those guys are one stopping, I would imagine.
Guys, that's a 68.
Whereas
He's almost a 70.
He's almost a 70. Oh, well,
he pitted on lap 15, and we're at 85. So,
yeah. I think he'll be okay.
We'll see.
I think the issue for Chad and ultimately Ethan Stanley as well is going to be.
He needs 6 more laps or so.
All right. Here comes Matthew Weeks to the inside of Chad Frankenfield. Obviously, Chad not in need of a pit service this time by. And Weeks will make pretty short work of that 15 car, but Chad, of course, is going to hang on Matthew Weeks' right side despite much older tires and probably needing to be on the bottom for a little bit. Oh, Scott Crump's in the grass. What were you saying about Scott struggling earlier?
That car hasn't looked very friendly to him. We'll see what happens here, but I imagine. Yep, we're still battling with Arthur Enerson. Gets a little out of shape. Probably. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but probably would have been better off just riding behind that 50 for a little bit.
Yep. Though, again, Scott's got about a similar level of I'll call it reputation, as kind of Chad Frankenfield as well. Kind of Scott taking it easy. That's not going to happen. So. Another look at the fuel situation.
I'm working on making
Chad's
it more visible for us so you can see the numbers.
Yeah, I can see him now. Chad's at 72 there. That's a long run, obviously, but
there's also been quite a few caution laps in that run as well.
Right. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe 65 to 70 is the typically expected window. Cut lips close to the rear bumper of Frankenfield. Ethan Burrell's really working his way forward here as well. If you're Chad would like to probably get to 97 to be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be for Chad. This to be Chad's last stop, but everybody else still has to pit. Is what's going in his favor. So that's what I'm saying. Is like he could potentially try to do 2 short runs here, right? If he can't make it, and I'm assuming Chad can't go 7 more laps. So I think he's probably going to have to pit in the next 2 or 3. He's still staying out there. He's still battling, too. Like, this car is not that much slower, I think, than it had been. It's slower. He's definitely lost some time. Blake Reynolds is 4 seconds up the road, and he was running with him. But
I think you got to run it dry here, whatever that number is. Mm-hmm. I think you've got to run it dry and then hope the undercut works in your favor. You're kind of committed at this point, so there's no reason to get cute with it. Run it dry and get as close to the finish as you can and try to build up what lead you can once you're out on those fresh tires. Well, I say lead. Obviously, it's not going to be a lead. He's probably going to be a lap down when he comes out pit road, but the idea is when those guys pit, hopefully we go green that long and you're able to have a sizable advantage and make them have to chase you down.
Right. And I think Chad will not need to run it dry on his next stint after he makes this pit stop. He and Ethan Stanley should be able to cut that short at some point. And it's a tough ask because we've run a lot of green flag laps here in a row. the odds of us running green to the end are pretty slim, but they're not zero. So,
well, I mean,
that's a possibility.
It definitely, we've seen how tricky these cars have been to handle, especially on corner exit. But I think we've also seen plenty of times where some of the hardest, most challenging setups produce some of the cleaner races. The last time we were here in this series, we only had 4 cautions. We've kind of already reached that number, but I could totally see, despite that challenge, it reach a point where everybody's just so mindful of keeping it inside the line, so to speak, that you get that long green flag run.
Definitely see it. Just the way this has gone thus far today, it's a little bit of it has been, I'll call it mechanical. The car getting out from under guys. So, if we can avoid making those mistakes, I think we might be home free. And Chad's stretched it to 95. I mean, there's a real shot he gets to a point where he can make it to the end after this pit stop. Ethan Stanley has noted pitting in this time. Chad has not, but he likes to not let anybody know he's coming down pit road. Need that element of surprise or something.
Well, the good news for him here is there's not. Yep, there you go.
Chad down pit road along with Ethan Stanley.
And here's where you definitely can't afford a speeding penalty under green. That would lead to a drive-through. Got to keep it underneath that speed limit. Don't throw away your race here on this pit stop.
Both of these guys have a real shot to win this race. They may. It's going to be tough for them. I think they would probably need to stretch it in order to get to the end here. But that isn't really relevant right now. Run hard, coming out of pit road, build up a lead with the fresh tires, a de facto lead, and see if we get a caution. Then if, no caution is going to come out, then we'll try to save fuel and stretch it to get to the end. But, I mean, they made it to the lap that we kind of said. They might be able to go to the end here.
I think they can go to the end here. I think you're right.
It's right. It's going to be close, for sure. But they should be okay. There's the gap from Chad, Ethan Stanley. The issue for them, of course, is going to be they're going to be on older tires at the end of the run. Fresher tires are going to have a chance to catch up to them. And so, they're going to need, things to break perfectly, and they may not. Let's move back to the race lead here. Here's Matthew Weeks. He's up to 4th, just bypassed Gavin Hibbs. I want to touch on the team that's up 1, 2, 3 here in the running order. You've got Channel 199 Sim Racing, obviously joining the league last season with a bang. Blake Reynolds picking up a championship in the last race there at Las Vegas. As there's Gavin Hibbs on the grass, and it is that easy for a top 5 driver to suddenly start losing the handle on this car. And I think there's no contact here until Hibbs gets loose. Yeah, he didn't even get no contact at all. Took her stayed off him the entire time. Hibbs able to keep it going, and I don't know if he even lost a position. I think maybe 1 to Ethan Burrell. But anyway, to my point on Blake Reynolds, they brought over Zach Novak and Ethan, pulled Ethan Stanley from Lake Norman. They've really cemented themselves as a championship contending team. They're going to contend for a lot of race wins. Right now, Reynolds and Novak have a sizable 1-second lead over Garrison Hogan and a near 4-second lead over Matthew Weeks. And they're running nose to tail here on the racetrack. And Novak's kind of stalking Blake Reynolds down. That's despite receiving a bunch of damage earlier in the event with regards to that restart wreck involving Gerald Campbell. And he's doing a really good job right now. And I can't say I'm surprised or anything, but it's pretty interesting to see these professional level drivers out here. They're doing what we kind of expected them to do. And I think we were all pretty impressed last season with the elite regulars, we'll call them casuals, the guys who typically do this stuff. And tonight it's been a pretty solid clinic put on by Blake Reynolds. That's why we've done so much time covering the Chad Frankenfield and Ethan Stanley saga, because I think those are two guys who could probably have something to say about this race if they get some things to break their way and kind of break up this stranglehold that Channel 199 has in the race lead.
Absolutely. I think, we had some conversations before the season started about what we think the championship picture will look like here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series this season. And I think any realistic scenario, if you want a championship, you're going to have to wrestle it away from this Channel 199 group with Blake Reynolds, Zach Novak, even Ethan Stanley, and Garrison Hogan being a part of that team this year as well. I just, I'd have to say they're the favorites this season. And now that we've gotten past the wild card that is Daytona, you're seeing, right now, 1, 2, 3 for that team as they run right now here at Texas.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and definitely another bullet in the chamber, so to speak, with Ethan Stanley. Though he did fall back quite a bit in the running order, but I would say he and Chad Frankenfield do both have a real shot at getting this one. It's just going to take. I think everybody needs to pit, and then the yellow needs to come out for those two to be cycled up to the race lead and to kind of have a shot at the rest of this group. It's an outside shot, but it is something that they have, and the gaps are pretty big right now. You talked about how this race may spread out and kind of get to a point where we see this green flag cycle. I definitely am starting to feel what you're talking about. That said, there's guys door banging down the back straightaway. Ryan Scholden and Justin Wadsworth just ran into each other as soon as I clicked onto that side-by-side battle. So we're definitely not out of the woods yet for yellow flag, but I think that you kind of saw it coming a little bit. You knew that this race was going to start to have that green flag feel, but they're 3 wide in turn 1. You never know.
Oh, we'll never run out of opportunities to create a caution. I promise that.
Justin Wadsworth made that outside line work, blows around Ryan Gable for the 11th spot. Scholden Gable will fight for 12th. Gable's loose right now. That car. Yep. Marcy Anderson hits pit road. He was in the top 10. This is a bit of a short pit. He can definitely make it to the end. Marcy Anderson is going to take the gamble that these guys aren't going to wad it up here. It's a gamble that Chad Frankenfield and Ethan Stanley could not make, right? So here's Ryan Gable. Gable's going to go down pit road. Oh, in front of the pack. Almost an incident coming off turn 4.
He called it out.
I have some experience in Elite with calling out the pit and people behind not getting the message.
Mm-hmm.
Worked out that time, though. Gavin Hibbs down pit road, as well as Corey Abbott. So seems like this kind of 60-ish laps to go might be a time where we start getting some of these guys to drag down these Channel 199 cars, though I kind of assume this group has their own specific strategy here. I think they're going to stick to a specific number regardless of what the cars around them do. So they lap past Ray Bracey. Oh man, Chad Frankenfield just was 3 wide in turn 3. Daniel Gore and Justin Vandermarl are side by side for position above Chad Frankenfield. That was almost a disaster. It worked out. Gore and Vandermarl are still side by side. Frankenfield went flying by. But that's as far back as Chad is. Yeah.
And obviously Chad's in a tough spot because he's got to maximize this fresh tire advantage while he can, but obviously he's catching a lot of traffic on these older tires in the process.
He really hasn't even pulled much of a gap on Ethan Stanley either, as Dylan Javier heads down pit road. The gap it isn't there. Bracey hits pit road as well. I would say Chad's not been able to take great advantage of those tires. A good measuring stick to where Chad Frankenfield is that he's ahead of. Oh, Chad got into Justin Wadsworth. They're both on the apron at 3. I think, did Wadsworth call out pitting? Because he pitted down pit road, but Chad slammed into him.
I didn't hear anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That contact is allowed, and slow up time has allowed Gavin Hibbs to go racing past Chad Frankenfield on the same strategy. The damage is likely good. Oh, Thomas Kunin's in the wall right in front of Gavin Hibbs. Kunin keeps it straight. That's the second time he's almost taken out cars that are on the lead lap, and this thing is starting to get pretty hairy. But you can see the damage on Chad Frankenfield's car. It's pretty significant, and I think that's ultimately going to slow that car down enough to where it may not be a factor any longer. Ethan Burrell down pit road. This time, as we check on Thomas Kunin, that car's still running, but Zach Novak has hit pit road, and he's undercut his two Channel 199 teammates, Reynolds and Hogan, and Reynolds stays on the track yet another lap here as Novak stays on pit road. So that could split up this group a little bit. You know, Zach, we've seen, I think, that undercut work pretty well in this next-gen car. You know, if you're the first, you don't want to be the very first car to pit, but you don't want to be the very last car to pit either. It's Jonathan Cutlip, Justin Vandermeer will come down pit road. I think we've seen some races won by guys pitting in the middle of the cycle, but ahead of their competition.
Oh,
Oh!
Is that Paul?
Now we've got trouble with Chad Frankenfield over in turn 1.
Oh, man. It's gone from bad to worse. Blake Reynolds has decided now is the time to pit before any potential yellow flags come out as the chaos has continued. Oh, Chad and R.C. Anderson make some contact here. Yep. Pretty remarkable save that was not an incident of yellow flag quality, but
I got to be honest on that one with, I mean, I understand Chad's frustration there, but you know the 50's got fresher tires and he kind of shut the door on him.
yeah. Oh, Gable and Cutlip hit the wall right behind Chad. I was keeping an eye on him. That was another near incident. But yeah, I think, you know, we've talked at length about, you know, even earlier in this race, we mentioned how it seemed like Chad was racing a little more, you know, head on his shoulders, really focused. You know, and another driver either didn't call out the pit or, you know, there was some miscommunication there. But now that as soon as Chad kind of lost the opportunity, the focus seemed to go out the window. Up front, Matthew Weeks is the race leader. David Tooker is headed down pit road. Reynolds pitted. Hogan pitted. It is just Matthew Weeks. And we've seen this strategy out of Matthew Weeks before. He likes to be the last one to pit. And that typically doesn't work out for him all that well. On the shortcut cycle. Go ahead.
Hopefully we'll be able to get an update on race control from these incidents we have seen under the green flag run.
I wonder if race control will call anything. It didn't seem like many, if any, were heavy damage tallies, and I think that's about the only way you get a penalty there.
Maybe not the second one, but the first one. I think you have to say Chad would have gotten significant damage from the incident with Justin Wadsworth.
Chad would certainly argue it, that's for sure. Race leader Matthew Weeks is 3 wide. He's about to yield a lap back to Zach Novak on the bottom lane. Novak in that 42 car has cleared past his teammate Blake Reynolds by sizable margin. Reynolds not even on the screen. He's just now entering turn 1. He's not very far behind Novak. But that undercut has really worked in the favor of the 42 car here. As this race has gone green, it's gone advantage to Zach Novak. Up 123 of 167 in the AB quality 250. Matthew Weeks, the leader, he's still got a pit, so to the top 4. We've been green for a pretty sizable chunk here.
About 60
Blake
laps.
Reynolds has unlapped himself. 60 laps, yep.
Since we went green for that 1 lap shootout for the stage.
And that, the way this is trending, that could be the final yellow flag of the race. Shoutouts, I think, for a couple of these guys in the top 5. Obviously, Michael Hosak was involved in an incident there, and it looks like Justin Wadsworth will get the tally for the incident with Chad Frankenfield. And Zach, you were on that one. That should have been a penalizable incident. I think the battle we'll need to follow here as we get closer to the end is the battle between Zach Novak and not Gerald Campbell, sorry, Blake Reynolds. Blake's starting to eat into the gap between he and Novak a little bit. Novak's in a ton of traffic. You see him battling around Thomas Coonan. Josh Adams also, he couldn't get off the corner quite as well as he had before. Right now, Reynolds is eating about 1/10 to 2/10 a lap into the gap between the two of them. Of course, that time by, Novak extended the gap just a little bit, but Reynolds had been quicker. As down pit road come Paul Mikolajczyk, and Matthew Weeks is coming next time by. That'll turn the lead back over to Zach Novak.
And that will get us through the green flag pit cycle.
That's refreshing. We got through a full entire green flag pit cycle. I don't think that happened last year until either halfway through the season or might even been later than that at an oval track.
Of course, I say that. Still got 2 more. Hanging on for dear life.
And shout outs to them. I did want to note it before they inevitably tumble down the running order due to the strategy here. Michael Hosak, the race leader, he had been involved in an incident or two earlier in the race, but he's been able to keep that 24 car clean. And he's obviously making a play, hoping for a yellow flag to kind of trap some folks a lap down and get go ahead and get his fresh tires. But he'll be down pit road shortly. The other guy out here on this strategy is Leighton Norgard, and he had a really strong end of the season, as no tally issued for the incident between Chad and R.C. Anderson. But Norgard was really strong down the stretch last season. Thought maybe he would have a chance at, running for maybe a race win this year. Grab his first Belly Up Sports Cup Series win. That won't happen today, I don't believe, but I'm looking forward to seeing if Norgard can't put it together later on in this season. Hosak did come down pit road. That'll give the lead to a Leighton Norgard, so both of them grabbing a lap lead for their respective teams before turning the lead over to Zach Novak to finish this race off here, remaining 37 green flag laps, hopefully. I'll tell you, Zach, I don't want to do too much of this. We'll do it a lot throughout this season, I'm sure, but it's rather impressive to me that Zach Novak is running lap times quicker than Blake Reynolds on 4 or 5 lap older tires due to that undercut.
Lap 113 for Novak, lap 116 for Reynolds. So we're looking at a 3-lap difference there.
Yep. 3 laps, and Novak's been able to keep that lead at about 1.5 seconds between the two of them.
And more importantly for them, they're at least 1/10, if not 2/10 quicker than most of the guys trying to chase them down on pretty much lap by lap basis. So if this stays green, it is shaping up to be a fight between the two pros for the win here. But like you say, it's about a 2-second gap between them at the moment. Blake will just have to eat into that here in these final 35 laps or so.
Really worked out perfectly for Zach Novak. He kind of hit that undercut just right where he was able to maximize it just a little bit better than Blake Reynolds. And you can see Blake is just not getting enough time to be able to run him down, even with a slight tire advantage. Novak just about got a piece of the outside wall too. He's pushing this thing about as hard as it'll go right now. And the 42 car is rock solid on the bottom of the racetrack. He really hasn't put a wheel wrong yet, other than when he got knocked onto the apron during that one restart caution.
And as far as, I guess we envisioned it with the guys who pitted much earlier, this would be the part of the race where they'd be back out front, and that simply has not happened. I mean, I know we discussed the issues for Chad Frankenfield during that run, but even Ethan Stanley is in the 10th position. That just has not panned out the way we expected. And right now it's looking like the battle will be between the Channel 199 cars.
So now, obviously, we are hitting right at 30 laps to go in this race. Zach Novak, Blake Reynolds, Garrison Hogan, the top 3. It is 4 more seconds from Garrison Hogan back to Ethan Burrell in 4th. And David Tooker, Gavin Hibbs, Jonathan Cutlip, R.C. Anderson, Matthew Weeks, and Ethan Stanley round out the top 10. Matthew Weeks is going to be the car on the freshest tires of that group, but I mean, at a 13.5 second gap to the race leaders, even great lap times are just not going to be good enough here.
Worth noting, coming through this green flag run, because barring a caution, I don't think we'll see, unless somebody does a cheeky pit stop at the end of the race for the sole purpose of chasing that bonus point. Looks like right now, fastest lap honors will go to Blake Reynolds, 29.841 on basically his flyer once he left pit road during this green flag pit cycle.
That even puts it into perspective just how well Novak did there. I mean, Reynolds put together the fastest lap of the race on pit exit, and it still came out 2 seconds behind Zach Novak. So that just goes to show just how powerful that undercut was, but also the consistency of lap times once they have gotten out into this, the middle segment of this run. And Novak's been able to put together some really consecutive good laps. Seth Rawls is working hard to stay on the lead lap right now. He's putting a lot of dirty air on the nose of this 42 car. It's actually slowing Novak down a little bit. He lost a 1/10.5 to Blake Reynolds last lap, and I don't envision this lap will be any better. He's kind of ridden in the tire tracks of Seth Rawls the whole way around, and that's going to tighten up that 42 car, make it a little bit tougher to turn. And yeah, Novak going to lose another 10th and about a 10th there to Blake Reynolds. So Seth Rawls right now, the one who's kind of closing up this battle for the lead.
And obviously Seth Rawls is entitled to try and stay on the lead lap here, because, I mean, a caution could come out at any minute. We know we have this green flag run, everybody's spread out, but we also know how hard this car has been to drive at times. You never know when that caution could come out. And sure, even if he were to go a lap down here, he'd be the lucky dog or whatever, but if you can avoid starting at the tail end of the field on a restart, by just staying on the lead lap. That's definitely preferable, but I just don't know how much longer he can put up this fight. I think Seth Rollins is giving up the ghost here.
Yep. Just went ahead and lets that 42 car by. It was a good effort from Seth Rollins to try and keep himself on the lead lap, and in that act of passing another 100th or so off the lead here for Novak to Reynolds. But once the clean air has hit the nose of this 42 car, he's put almost that entire gap back into this race lead. It's back to 1.8 and growing pretty quickly as soon as Novak got that clean air back on the nose of that 42 car. Looks like dirty air might be. Oh, there it is.
Oh. Oh, man.
This changes everything.
That's what Mark Revelis said.
Amazing.
We're looking at the Revelis
looks like it was
replay machine.
We are. It's not Ray Bracey that was the cause of the caution. I was a little alarmed when you threw it on him there. There it is.
Oh. So what happened here?
I think those two might have been having a tussle before. Maybe not.
Well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not great.
The stunned silence of the broadcaster speaks loudly in this case.
So
okay, so
yeah,
Jesse,
I think what. Okay.
Go ahead.
Scott Crump is saying Jesse was blocking him. So we'll see. This is a lap prior. I mean, you're not there. So he has to back out of it there, which is fine. And now we're going to go back around the next time. Now, obviously, Scott's got to set up a run. Goes high R2, tries to get the run down the back stretch. Crump's gonna say he's there. Jesse's gonna say he's not there. It's amazing. They're both saying, look at the replay. They're both very steadfast in their positions on this argument. As the third party here, Scott wasn't there. Let's start with that. Scott wasn't there. He just chucks it in there and hopes Jesse doesn't shut the door. With that being said, maybe if you already had trouble the lap before, maybe leave a little more room. I don't love this all the way around.
No, I think I've seen your. I think I see exactly what you're going for. Worth noting that Leighton Norgard, Ethan Burrell, and Matthew Weeks did stay on the racetrack under this cycle of pit stops. Zach Novak, Blake Reynolds, everybody else came down pit road for 4 tires. I think this. You're right. This could have been avoided. That's the primary number one. Like fact here is that's an avoidable incident for sure.
What's going on here?
It looks like I don't know. I think those three thought they were going to get a wave around, but Norgard, Burrell, and Weeks stayed out. Weeks might actually have taken 2 tires. That's probably what happened. But Scott drove it in on a car that he saw get bobbly, didn't, then block him. So he thought, well, I'll set it up and then I'll do it again. And, Jesse thought he'll make the same move and block. And yeah, they're going to call that a racing incident. I kind of have to agree because I think Scott threw it in way too far back and Jesse hit him. Yeah. Green flag is back out, by the way. Leighton Norgard has the race lead. Ethan Burrell's going to have the big push here on the bottom. Novak's going to chuck it 3 wide on Norgard and Burrell. Sends Leighton Norgard way up the racetrack. Zach Novak trying to grab the clean air and grab this race lead back. Burrell's going to fight back with older tires on the bottom. Novak clear to the lead. He made light work of those older tires, and Zach Novak back in control of this race. Blake Reynolds is bottled up in traffic. Norgard in the wall hard.
Norgard in the wall.
12 cars destroyed. Gallant effort by Leighton Norgard to jump up there and cause some chaos and see what happened. They did not wreck quickly enough, I think, to keep that 12 car up there. They needed to, as it turned out, they needed to wreck in about 100 feet after the start finish line. Novak is gone. Burrell and Weeks have settled out to second and third. Reynolds is stuck behind them. He's trying to generate some run on the top to be able to make a pass. Garrison Hogan is back there in fifth. Then it's 3 wide for sixth between Hibbs, Anderson, and Tooker. It looks like Hibbs is going to win that battle for now. Anderson back up top on Gavin Hibbs. Zach Novak just ran the fastest lap of the race by 0.3. Man.
There you see that 3
3 wide
battle.
again. Ethan Stanley trying to get back in the mix there in the 91 car. He kind of fallen back after that, staying out for the stage points. He and Gavin Hibbs side by side just in front of Trey Holmes and Justin Wadsworth. Oh, Burrell loose in turn 2. That's going to be a caution. Oh, there goes Burrell.
Huge hit.
Anderson into the wall as well. And this is going to be a big pile up down the back straightaway. Bunch of race leaders involved. Garrison Hogan is the one who got Ethan Burrell. Cutlip's going to have some damage. I think somebody else is going to pile into Tooker, who got spun in this. Maybe not.
He got loose trying to miss it. Does he keep out of the wall, though?
A couple more cars
he's
spun
all right.
out, too. Yeah, I think he's okay. Trey Holmes is going to be the car to go on board with in this incident as well. On board with Trey Holmes. I mean, check this out. This happens from second, but you're going to see Ethan Burrell car go flying right in front of Trey. He's got to back it down and then we'll find a way around R.C. Anderson as well.
Yep.
Then, oh no, Hossack made it back on track. All right. Somebody else spun out there, but I couldn't tell who it was. It looked like Ryan Schold, but I could have been mistaken. That was Hossack. It's going to be just in front. So this is still a good view of this. Oh!
Oh!
And here's the Michael Hossack save. This is also a really good save. Hossack, you saw Hossack drive back on the track in front of Holmes. And that was just him correcting the car after all of that. All right. we go to a commercial break here?
If we have...
Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. The track that launched the legendary careers of Harvick, Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. is now ready to write that next chapter. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers. And in the process, we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. NASCAR Weekend 2025, the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs, the Confluence Music Festival, and now 250 miles of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 incredible races, 1 challenging track, a 3-day party of epic proportions. Go to WWT.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is.
They walk among us.
Welcome back to the conclusion of the AB Quality 250 from Texas. That was our 8th caution of the day, coming just after a long green flag run followed by a chaotic restart in which Zach Novak recovered the race lead. Channel 199 has positions 1, 2, 3, and 5 in this race. Can anybody break their stranglehold on this one? Pace car is off. Zach Novak into the restart zone alongside Blake Reynolds, and Novak will get the big restart. Cutlips the car left out to dry on the outside, and the Channel 199 cars surge through to 1 through 4.
Yeah, Cutlip did not get a good restart there on the second lane, and that's allowed that inside lane to roll through. Zach Novak, oh,
Caution.
We've got trouble. It's further back.
It is Matthew
Weeks.
Weeks. I saw Mark Urbilis and Corey Abbott as well. I think that might be all that was involved, though.
Oh, Seth Rolls has got a tag. One of the 97 red and black cars in the field. That is Corey Abbott. And that's got to collect Matthew Weeks.
Right there, yep. See if... I don't think Weeks got much, if any, damage. I think the most damaged car in this one's going to be Corey.
Yeah, Corey definitely gets the worst of the deal, getting tagged in the left rear. Weeks really had no chance to miss it, even he was trying to slow down. Oh, hi, Mark Rebelis.
There he is, the Rebelist photography
Sorry.
replay machine.
It's never good when you make your own replay machine.
Seth Rawls picks up the tally there. Urbilis will be one of the cars heading to pit road to fix damage. Is it Urbilis or Rebelos?
I've heard it about 17 different ways. The problem here is the only time I've heard Mark answer the question, he answered it in text. So it's still not super clear, but it was definitely, like, the second syllable was definitely bill, like dollar bill. Now, which syllable, which emphasis goes on which syllable, that part I'm not quite sure on. But I can tell you it is not bile. It is not the bodily fluid.
Yeah, okay.
And
What's even funnier, though, is...
US. Now he's gone in chat while he's driving and put Rebill US. So it's Mark Rebill US. Mark Rebill United States of America driving the 99 car. Or is it the 96 this season? I don't know, man. Rebel us. He is, I think autocorrect got him. He has amended it to us. So Rebel us.
He spun out on pit road too. What's even better is...
I don't know if it's Ray. Is it? I mean, I'm saying Re, but is it Re? Is it Ray, like Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do? Is it Re, like reply? That still doesn't actually answer my question. We need at some point to just bring him into the booth and say and spell your first and last name. And when he tells us his own last name, then we'll know.
You want to race?
But
we
I
had an
know it's a bit-
opportunity to.
I know, right?
Rebelus.
The thing about Mark, though, is that he could absolutely tell you 10 different ways every time.
Out of his rear end. Right. No, 100%. He would absolutely give us different pronunciation just to screw with us. You're absolutely right. Now you've got me a little suspicious.
I went 6 months thinking his name
in
was
fact,
Damn It Mark.
I would be shocked if you. I would be shocked if you got the answer on any of the attempts.
His last
It
name
could
is
be
actually
anything, man.
Jones. He is actually Brent Jones's cousin. He's just been trolling us
There you
the
go.
whole time.
That's what I'm saying. He figured out the Robilus, the R word from the. Oh no! We're off the rails.
No!
9 cautions.
Don't go there.
No.
Oh, he can't do that.
That comes across beautifully.
Zach Novak is leading this race. Mark in that 96 car is not. Novak, Garrison Hogan, Blake Reynolds, Ethan Stanley, the top 4, all 4 for Channel 199 Sim Racing. Justin Wadsworth and Jonathan Cutlip are 5th and 6th. Green flag is back out with 12 laps to go. Let's see if we can make it farther than turn 1 this time.
We're not trying real hard. We're already 3 or 4 wide further back in the pack.
Nope, we didn't.
Fortunately,
Daniel Gore's head on the wall.
that. Well, yeah. That's
Daniel Gore
not
got
great.
tagged
Great.
by Justin Wadsworth, it looked like. Yeah. Yep. That's it. That's what it looked like.
Yep, Justin Vandermarl tag in the left rear.
I said Wadsworth. I meant Vandermarl. Red Bull car.
You'll have that.
Justin, long last name. This is, by the way, Daniel Gore's season and series debut. He's dabbled in the elite trucks, and up until there, he had I think one spin during a wreck. Got maybe a little bit of damage. Just kind of fixed that up. He had been running right there in the back end of the top 15. Was looking at a pretty decent first race result. Now he'll be about 25th and hoping for some continued carnage to try and make up some more positions.
Let's squeak in an ad while we got a chance.
Let's jump to break here for a few more minutes during this 10th caution.
Now let's hear about Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing picture. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
Have you ever just forgot to hold the brakes during a wreck? Are they just not able to pronounce your name in a race?
Paul Mikolajczyk.
Have you ever been wrecked by Chad? Hi, I'm Ray Bracey, and I'm here to share with you quick shifts. Watch all the highlights, lowlights, and other shenanigans in the top racing leagues, such as the Elite Racing League, and... But don't just take my word for it.
Before Quick Shifts, I was depressed. I wasn't able to relive my favorite moments from each race. Now with Quick Shifts, I can go out there and listen to all my favorite banter from the race while seeing all the crashes and good racing once again.
I don't remember life before Quick Shifts. I had to listen to Cameron Broke and Ty Mac and Cheese recap Oscar every week in the 3-Wide TV booth, but now, thanks to Quick Shifts, I actually enjoy my Oscar recaps.
So try quick shifts. You suffered through it one time, why not suffer through it again? Side effects of quick shifts include constipation, diarrhea, dizziness, dry mouth, abnormal heart rhythms, internal bleeding, numb tongue, unfiltered honesty, loud hiccups, laughing uncontrollably, mandatory dancing, midnight munchies, blue urine, red urine, no urine, and many.
Hey, David,
And
do you
we're
have
back.
your MasterCard number handy to get? I was gonna, get that
Oh.
Mojo Quick Shift subscription you saw on the screen there.
Look, I've already given Ray all of my credit card information. I don't know if it was a great idea, but he's got it already for sure.
Excellent.
One to green is Ray and Daniel Gore try to catch up to the field.
Does he always race in VR?
I'm not used to
I've never
seeing
seen him in VR.
This might be a first. I'll have to get the follow up on that after the race. I was not prepared when we first showed his camera to see the old virtual CPAP machine in action.
Well, at least he did face forward, because he could have just been facing backwards and it would have been no different, right?
Yeah, we wouldn't have known. It hasn't been and that may explain he got some damage early in the race from he hit the wall under caution. I think there might have been some part of that unfamiliarity involved. That's what I would wager. This restart will come with 7 laps to go. Zach Novak leads Garrison Hogan, Ethan Stanley, and Blake Reynolds as Channel 199 has locked out the first 4 positions. Justin Wadsworth, Jonathan Cutlip, Gavin Higgins, Ryan Gable, Trey Holmes, and Michael Hosack make up the top 10. And let's see what happens this time. 10 cautions down, 8 laps to go. Coming to 7, green flag back out. Zach Novak doesn't jump that well. Blake Reynolds spins the tires a little bit. Hogan's alongside the 42. He won't be able to stick there, though, and Ethan Stanley and Hogan will be side by side behind Zach Novak.
And that's exactly what Novak wants to see. The longer they can stay side by side, the happier he'll be. Well, that's over.
They didn't stay side by side for long. Stanley drops in behind Garrison Hogan, uses that outside lane to try to build a run. It's all happening behind Novak, though. 6 laps to go. The battle's for 5th between Wadsworth, Hibbs, Blake Reynolds, Ryan Gable. Everybody's firing it into turn 1. Ultimately, though, it's all behind Zach Novak. He's pulling away. They're 3 wide from 8th on back. Michael Hosack up top made up some big-time ground. He's still 3 wide up there. Hosack made it stick. He's side by side with Tooker. Trey Holmes sideways around and into the wall goes Holmes. He keeps it straight. We're still green. Zach Novak has the race lead. He's pulled away to a half second over his teammates. They're not done sorting it out. Ethan Stanley side by side with Blake Reynolds right now. Reynolds going after Stanley for that 3rd spot, that podium finish.
Zach Novak resetting fastest lap of the race on this restart, 29.345.
Brief. I'm curious if anybody's crested 29.5. Anybody else has? Oh, contact between the teammates.
Oh.
Yeah, only Blake Reynolds has entered the kind of realm that Zach Novak is setting right now.
Oh,
Reynolds is to the inside of Stanley. Oh, good. Whew. Could have been another caution. 3 laps to go. Battles for 3rd between Reynolds and Stanley. Reynolds has that preferred bottom lane. Stanley trying to defend up top. He got the wall last time off of 4, battling for this spot. He won't get it this time. Here comes Ethan Stanley back for 3rd.
2 laps to go. We watch this battle for 2nd. Ethan Stanley on the outside. Blake Reynolds on the battle for 3rd rather.
Stanley's made that outside line work. He's been able to keep it in under him here, but Reynolds going to slide up in front of Stanley. Stanley gives his teammate a push. They save it. Here comes Wadsworth for the 4th spot. Wadsworth got a piece of Blake Reynolds there. Reynolds got out of shape again. Here comes Stanley up top. All this is allowed for Zach Novak to drive away towards his first Elite Belly Up Sports Cup Series victory. Garrison Hogan's going to bring home 2nd. The battle is for 3rd. It's still between the Channel 199 teammates of Stanley and Reynolds. Out of turn 4, Novak wins. Hogan 2nd at the line. It's Ethan Stanley for third over Reynolds.
Oh man.
That would have been a really good finish for the win.
It would have. It was a pretty good finish for third, as it was.
Justin
They
Wadsworth
wanted
collects
to get
a
interviewed really
P5.
badly.
You think Ethan Stanley is openly claimed he doesn't like getting interviewed all that much. That would, him battling it out, into the interview. That's a little bit surprising, I'll tell you. Nonetheless, a podium lockout for Channel 199. In fact, a 1 through 4 lockout. Yeah.
Yep.
Only Paul Mikolajczyk on that team was not a member of the top group today. We'll go ahead and grab those guys once they hop into that waiting room. Zach Novak burns it down for his first Elite Billy Up Sports Cup Series victory, and Zach, what I can only assume will be first of many for Mr. Zach Novak.
He already has more cup wins than another Zach I know.
Well, Novak burns it down. Let's go in and grab Ethan Stanley and talk to him and get his thoughts on that final lap battle. So Ethan Stanley, welcome back to the booth. But unfortunately, just for P3 tonight, though, it was a pretty thrilling finish there for P3. Take me through your kind of final lap there.
Yeah, it's just track gripped up a lot, so we could run multiple lines finally. Early in the race, he just couldn't go anywhere. Too much dirty air. At the end there, just had to hang around the outside and, had a pretty good battle at the end there with Blake.
And you mentioned that battle with Blake, part of a 1, 2, 3, 4 for Channel 199. Have to feel pretty good. Obviously, not the first race this season, but the first non-super speedway race this season to see such a strong effort from the team.
Yeah, that was a really good start to the season. We did pretty well at Daytona, just not having the luck on our side. We were pretty dominant tonight. Zach was just quicker than the whole field, and Blake was also pretty far up there. But I had some luck come my way. We got that caution late on. Otherwise, I was going to be pretty far back. So, just a little bit of chaos helped me out, and pretty happy with that result.
Zach mentioned it there, Ethan, but to take you into the move, this is the first time we've gotten to interview you. So, I guess my question would be, how's it working so far? Are you enjoying the new teammates and kind of the different style that you're seeing, and are you learning anything that you're putting to good use here?
Yeah, I'm starting to settle in. It's going to take me a little bit before I really start picking stuff up, but great group of guys over there working. And I think I should definitely learn a lot throughout the season.
And before we let you go, let's get those shout-outs and plugs on this third place finish tonight, Ethan.
Yeah, big shout out to Channel 199, of course, and Racecraft Academy as well. Big shout out to Next Level Racing, JD Designs, and Apex Gaming PCs. Couldn't get done without them. And just big shout out to you guys up in the booth. I always love watching these races back. And big shout out to all the admins that run this league.
Thanks, Ethan. Congratulations on a thrilling finish to P3, and we'll probably talk to you again next week. Pretty sure it's a road course for you.
Should be fun.
That is Ethan Stanley, the road course ace. So he'll almost certainly be back up here. Not seeing Garrison Hogan's actually. Would you just go ahead and grab Mr. Zach Novak?
Certainly, we can do that, and then if Hogan happens to slide in, we'll get a word with him.
Sounds good to me. Oh, I pulled him right out. There he is, Zach Novak. It's David in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Doing good, man. Kind of put a whooping on the field tonight, buddy. Take us through your night, how you did it, and how those kind of final restarts, plagued your night.
Yeah, well, obviously speed was good. I didn't really have amazing hot lap speed, at least in qualifying. At the end there, I kind of figured out, how to get some short run speed there with the grip the track had. But yeah, just was just trying to be as patient as I could that first run. We didn't go super long, but went long enough to be able to kind of figure out what I needed balance wise and what to work on from a driver perspective. So just kind of took those first couple short runs we had to learn, and then once we got kind of shuffled in the back there with that wreck, pretty much it was just try and make up as much track position as we could, as quickly as we could. Try and get some stage points. Didn't work out, but at the end of the day, stage points don't really matter when you have a win. So pretty happy with how it all played out, and luckily we were able to get back through the field quick enough to where it didn't really hurt our race too much.
And you mentioned picking up that win, getting that playoff spot secured nice and early here in the regular season. What does that do for you moving forward into Red Bull Ring next week and the rest of these first 11 races of the season?
Yeah, well, I definitely not call myself much of a road ringer or anything like that by any means. So, especially for next week, that'll help a lot. Just kind of go in and wherever we end up is wherever we end up. And then the rest of the races, just kind of racing, not carefree, but, just like with the weight off your shoulders of, not having to worry about a win is very, very nice. And I'm really looking forward to it. Just, trying to do the best we can, run up front and try and collect a few more.
Gotcha. And as you get into this this series, have you been able to learn anything from your new teammates here? And I guess we don't really have any history of you with the Channel 199 guys, but I assume you guys have worked together before. So what was the kind of the led you to the decision to come and race over here in Elite?
Yeah, Garrison reached out to me, I don't know, about a couple weeks after the last season, and he was like, "Hey, we got an opening, for one of the Channel 199 cars. Do you want to drive it?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I got nothing better to do on Wednesdays, so might as well give it a shot and see what it's all about." And the racing's really good. Everybody's pretty clean for the most part. I know we had a couple, dust ups here and there throughout the race, but everybody's pretty clean, and we got a quite long of a run right there. So I'm assuming that'll kind of be the case everywhere, at least hoping, and we can get some long green runs and have the field spread out a little bit and get you some nice racing for the broadcast. So I had a blast and looking forward to more.
And before we let you go, who do you have to thank on this victory here tonight at Texas?
Yeah, just thanks to Channel 199 and everybody, that makes everything happen over there. Can't thank them enough for the opportunity they've given me this year with the Coke Series, and letting me kind of venture out and do some different stuff like this. So been a blast. Thanks to Washer Tech as always for all their support. Mount Dawn, thank you so much. Appreciate all the sponsors. Racecraft. I'm drawing a blank here. Yobo's Design, Cosman, Flash and Go, thank you so much to him as well for putting the paint scheme together. Track Racer, thanks to everybody that helps put this on, and appreciate you guys for doing the broadcast. Thanks to everybody that helps run the league, and thanks for letting me come to run with y'all.
Appreciate it, Zach. Congrats on the first of what we're assuming to be many of these Elite Belly Up Sports Cup Series wins, and we'll catch you next week.
Hopefully. Appreciate you guys.
That was race winner Zach Novak. Grab runner-up finisher Garrison Hogan. And Garrison, if you got a copy, buddy, a really strong effort there for P2 tonight, but just a little bit short. Take us through what you probably needed to go catch your teammate there.
Honestly, clean air. The dirty air was really, really, really bad tonight, and I don't know, the combination of the setup as well with the track and the rubber buildup was also pretty bad. But it was hard to make any gains, and I mean, as you can see on that very long run, Zach had me on the short run. I think I was even with him on the long run, and he kind of burned his stuff up a little bit behind Blake on that extreme long run, but probably didn't have nothing for him anyway. So I kind of accepted the top two or top three, whichever came. So.
Well, he mentioned in his interview, the role you played in bringing him into Elite here this season and being a part of this Channel 199 effort. And certainly we've seen how strong that team is to start this season. You have to feel pretty good moving forward after a runner-up finish tonight and seeing what this team is capable of.
Yeah, and I mean, we knew that going into the season. We really added some strong talent. We already had some good talent as well. So it just makes everything better for us. I mean, the saying is iron sharpens iron. So, I mean, we're going to bring in at least some good talent and try to make it good for everybody as well. It's not just about us. It's really just giving everybody a good race and bringing in better talent so everybody gets better. And I think Zach is a perfect example of that, Blake as well. So they're doing really great.
Garrison, and you were right on the cusp of getting into that Final Four last season, and with a really strong points showing early in this one. What's your thoughts? I think going towards that championship fight. Obviously, it's early in the year, but you're probably easily expected to be one of the guys in the hunt for that championship. So, what's the, I think, mindset going forward here after such a good start to the season?
I mean, my mindset is probably to be the best of the rest. Just being a realist. Um, Zach and Blake, their resumes are incredible, and is really going to be tough to beat them week in and week out. But there are some guys in here that definitely will give them a run for their money at different tracks, and it's going to be a great time. But for me specifically, I just last year had an abysmal start, and I didn't have a charter, and I didn't have the ability to make some of the races at the beginning of the season. So I really made it an emphasis this year to focus and lock in and make sure I'm getting here on time at least to make the races, one, and then two, just in general, like be here and be present to get points and to actually go stage racing. So I'm going to try to focus on stage racing at this time, but my qualifying effort tonight wasn't good enough.
Well, before we let you go, who do you have to thank on this runner-up finish tonight?
Yeah, first off, got to thank Channel 199 Sim Racing, of course, and Racecraft and all of the partners that we have there. They are the ones that took a chance on me, and I'm there with that entire group, not necessarily on the eNASCAR Pro side of things, but at least to be a partner there under that banner, thanks to Blake. So I appreciate him for that. Dead Zone Racing, which is my iRacing team, JD Designs. You guys know Jonathan Cutlip very well. This track racer scheme always has been near and dear to my heart ever since we put it together. So I love it. So if you need a good paint scheme, come to him. As far as any other shout outs, thanks to Belly Up. They are the primary sponsor now for the Cup Series and have been for the past few seasons. They've been doing a great job there. Blue Egg Marketing, Chad for putting on the league, you guys for broadcasting as well. We really appreciate y'all.
We appreciate it, Garrison. Congrats on P2, and we'll look forward to next week. Hopefully you'll get it one spot better.
Yes, sir.
And with that, fellas, that is all our interviews, and we can close down the AB Quality Auto Glass 250 results up on the screen, Zach. But final thoughts here before we close it out tonight.
Well, I think definitely tonight sets the tone, right? We talked about it going into the season. Can anyone interrupt? Is what as Garrison Hogan put it. He's battling for best of the rest. Is that going to be the case, or can somebody step up to the task and challenge Zach Novak and Blake Reynolds tonight? It was those two guys kind of in a class of their own here at Texas. Certainly plenty of time between now and December to see if anybody is up to the challenge, but I think that's going to be what's on everyone's mind as we move forward all the rest of the season. Certainly next week, a completely different challenge altogether on the road course at the Red Bull Ring. But tonight's kind of the barometer for what we can expect on the speedways for the rest of the season, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. It's going to be tough. A team lockout of the top four. I mean, the last couple of seasons, it hasn't happened very much. I can think of a couple of times Pro Edge and Lake Norman had managed to pull that off, but to do that in race 2, you're right. It sets the tone. It's going to make things very interesting. See what these other teams can come up with if they can rise to the occasion and provide some big time battles. Because I think we'll have a lot of that going forward. And next week it's a road course, so look forward to the Ethan Stanley Invitational at the Red Bull Ring next week, and we will catch you guys then. For David Huckleberry, Zach Evans, David Westergreen, that was the AB Quality 250, and we'll see you next week.